Hello and welcome to Martech Advisor's Executive Interview Series. I'm Ginger Conlon, a contributing editor with Martech Advisor, and joining us today is Todd Crawford, who is VP of Strategic Initiatives at Impact Radius. Welcome, Todd.
Hi, Ginger.
Glad you're here with us today. We are going to talk about we're going to get a sneak peek of your session at the upcoming Influencer Marketing Days, and I love the topic, how influencers and brands can leverage data to drive measurable results, because we know marketers love data. We know they want measurable results. That's such a timely topic. But before we jump in, let's talk a little bit about you. Tell us about your background and a little bit about Impact Radius.
Sure. I've been in the digital marketing space since 1998, primarily in the performance marketing industry. I helped co-found Commission Junction, which was kind of the first global affiliate network. From there, I went on to help Digital River create their global affiliate network for their e-commerce platform, and then most recently, am one of the co-founders here at Impact Radius. So my role has always been kind of at the nexus or the middle of all of these relationships, partners and advertisers and agencies, and really providing the infrastructure for them to work together, tracking and data. Impact Radius, we're a marketing technologies company. We have a suite of products. We're best known for our Partner Manager product, which advertisers and agencies use to work with marketing partners and influencers. We also have a Media Manager product, which helps advertisers track all of their paid, earned, and owned marketing and import all the costs and do consumer journey path analysis as well as attribution modeling. And then we also have a product called Forensic, and that is a fraud detection solution that helps advertisers that are buying media or leads determine if they're being generated by non-human traffic.
Right, so that's an important tool for sure. So let's focus on the measuring influence, because that relates so much to your session. So influencer marketing, it's a long-established practice, but like many marketing approaches, it's evolved significantly with the advent of digital and social channels. So how do you see marketers defining influencer marketing today?
Well, I think anytime an advertiser is online, they're spending money to make money. So they're looking to get as much reach as possible. So I think influencers, especially today, there are a lot more influencers that have a lot more reach than historically. And you think about before online, you had to kind of be a celebrity to have to be an influencer and have tremendous reach. And you also had to have some type of vehicle to get that reach, which was television or print or radio. So today, with the internet and the social channels, it's very easy for seemingly nobody to suddenly become very influential and have lots of followers in fashion or whatever topic, literally almost overnight. And so brands are looking to reach those people. And I think the reason they're called influencers is because people believe they have some type of influence over them. They respect them. They listen to what they have to say and recommend. So I think that's how marketers are looking at influencers today.
Great. So what are some of the most common ways that you see marketers measuring the impact of using influencers, and how is that evolving?
Well, I think the onset of the digital influencer, people looked at, well, how many followers do they have? So every time they tweet about my brand, I'm getting exposure to some percent of those followers. They might look at the number of likes or shares or the interaction, the responses. That was historically how people approached influencer marketing. They were measuring kind of that social signals, as I call it. And I think, as I said earlier, advertisers, to advertise it, you spend money to make money. So you can do that all day long and not make any money or not know if you're making money. So I'm hopeful, and that's part of my discussion at Influencer Marketing Days, is to kind of evolve to being more I guess, accountable for the dollars that you spend in influencer marketing. I think um, looking at what matters most to the brand, whether that's online sales or other things that they can measure that are driving value to the brand. That's where I see it evolving to.
Right. And so, what do you see as some common challenges in measuring influence today?
Well, probably one of the biggest challenges if you're trying to measure the impact to your business, like let's just say sales generated by an influencer campaign, is that a lot of the social platforms will not allow you to use tracking links like an affiliate link, right? So it has to be a direct link. So if I'm the brand Todd.com, the influencers can really only link to Todd.com or mention Todd, and people should know to go to Todd.com. So it's very hard from an analytics perspective because I don't see a referring domain from Instagram or Twitter usually. It's usually coming through the app or Facebook. So it's hard to get good name value pairs or what we're used to using to measure all of our other marketing channels. But there are alternatives. But I think that's probably the biggest challenge is just getting the campaign set up to be measured before you run them, as opposed to trying to figure out how can we measure them after we spent the money.
Right. Interesting. So it makes me wonder if you think of the direct TV phone numbers that are, specific. Like, could you make a short link that has, something catchy in it that actually still is a direct link, but just has a name that you can track, through the direct link, but through that link.
Yeah, so we do that. We help. We know there are a couple ways you can do it. One is having a unique toll-free number that you can assign to that influencer, and if you were able to take inbound calls, you could track all of the number of calls and how many converted. Not a lot of online retailers aren't processing orders that way. Some direct marketers do. The other simple way is a unique promo code. So if you were going to do a campaign for me and I gave you Ginger 20 and any of your network use that coupon and they'd get 20% off. And
Right.
I can assign that uniquely to you. That means even if it bleeds into other channels, I can attribute it to the fact that you initiated the campaign. So I think that's a real easy one that we work with a lot of our clients to do. Um, there are some other ones, if they're more blogger based, where they're not using social apps, so you can get a referring domain. You can also set up the tracking that if you had, ginger.com, I could just know that any traffic coming from ginger.com, even if it doesn't have a tracking link in it, I would credit you for those conversions. So you can kind of mix and match all of those and kind of get it a little tighter, but those are probably the most common ways if you can't use an actual tracking link, which has kind of special parameters in it.
Right. Right. I like that there are creative workarounds, of course.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your session at Influencer Marketing Days. So you're going to discuss how, not surprisingly, based on our conversation, how you can track, measure, and compensate influencers, as well as link results to business KPIs, which is so important. So can you share a preview of just one way to measure influence that links directly to a marketing performance indicator?
Well, if you're a marketing manager and you sit next to the paid search marketing manager and the affiliate manager on the other side, the social, whatever, they're all being measured usually the same, right? We want to drive, more sales dollars to our business, maybe higher AOVs, and we want more new customers, and we want to do it with the best return on ad spend. So we're all marching to the same beat, right? So our social influencer campaigns should also align with those business KPIs so that we're measuring all of our marketing efforts the same. So if I'm going to work with an influencer, I want to understand, I want to almost have like a scorecard or something where I know based on the number of followers, based on some common questions I can ask them, the interaction, the likes, the shares, how engaged they are with their followers. I can kind of get a sense compared to other things I've done what I should go into this not blind, having like a high and low expectation and a way to measure it. So if I care about measuring it, I should have some metric. Like I said, a unique promo code would be a simple example. Um, you can also ask them, it's not as reliable to enter the code, like where did you hear about us, but it doesn't really give you a coupon off. That doesn't work as well. but I may know that 20% or 30% will enter it, so I could extrapolate. But the best would be a unique promo code that's only for that influencer, and then I can actually track all of the revenues derived from that promotion, which, as we know, some promotions can spike very quickly and go away, and some can have kind of a life for days. So it's important to have something in place that can continue to measure over time. That I think is probably the most important thing, because then you can justify the dollars you spent. And when it comes to compensation, I don't want to overpay, but I may have a window on my return on ad spend that I'm willing to go with. So although search or other channels may be really focused on a specific return on ad spend metric, I think as a influencer channel, we may have a broader one because it's not as easy to control. And so we may be happy with a poorer return on ad spend because there may be some other things that we get out of it, like maybe we get more new followers. And so we can kind of justify that as well.
Right, right. Interesting. So, what trend in influencer marketing are you most excited about and why?
Well, I'm most excited about just trending away from spending money and regretting it later with influencers. I mean, I'm not bashing influencer marketing, but I've just talked to a lot of advertisers that say we did a lot of stuff with influencers, and in hindsight, we wish we had that money back and we would have spent it somewhere else where we could have got a better return on ad spend and it would have been more measurable. So I'm excited for it to move into a more measurable state. I think there's always going to be influencers that you can't get to that state. They're just too big. There's plenty of people who are willing to spend money with them. And so kind of buyer beware, but there's a lot of mid-size and smaller influencers that can be very, very strong partners and are willing to work on a performance basis, a measurable basis, as opposed to an upfront basis. And you can do a lot with that. So I think it's just, I like seeing the evolution selfishly more towards the performance marketing end of the spectrum.
Absolutely, and it's definitely wise to go that way. And it's interesting that you say that about the smaller and medium because sometimes it's the niche that can have that bigger impact, right? You don't always have to go so broad to get the results that you're looking for when there's just the right influencer who targets your specific niche so well.
Exactly.
Great. Well, Todd, thank you so much for your time here today and all the insight. And I want to thank everyone who spent some time viewing this video and say, be sure to check out the Influencer Marketing Days website for more information on Todd's session and the conference in case you want to check it out. And also visit Martech Advisors YouTube channel for other executive interviews. And Todd, thanks again for being here today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.